Hello. Hi, friends. Welcome. Whether you're watching live or on the replay, let's just take a second and breathe in deep. Hold it in. Let it out with a sigh. Hello. Welcome. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Oh, hello. I love you too. All right. Welcome. Oh, hello. Hi, April. Hi. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and tell us where you're tuning in from and breathe in again because you have made it. Today, so far, all of it. And all of that deserves beautiful, wonderful celebration. And this is my joy box. This is it. This is the thing. Because sometimes the biggest joy comes in the tiniest ways, right? Yes. Sometimes what does it say? We need to breathe here from Connecticut. Welcome. Central Missouri. I love it. Okay. Hello. Yeah. Okay. So here's my joy box. And what's inside? A little tiny duck. And he does this. When you roll him, he can move. Ooh. Today we are talking about small joys. And it's not because we're ignoring what's hard or even more large Hallmark kind of moments, but because in the middle of all of your hard work and the Hallmark moments, joy is what keeps us going, motivated, feeling good. Tuning in from down the street, Alicia, hi. Baltimore, represent. And we are not here because like I said, we're not ignoring the hard stuff, but the messy middles are things that we need to celebrate so much more. The joy is what fuels us, what keeps us going. So like I said, where you're tuning in from, to share it, and maybe drop an emoji that is the closest to what you're feeling today. It doesn't even need to be a face. It could be a strawberry. I don't know. How are you feeling? Because ducks are still hot. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. So tell us how you're feeling with an emoji and where you're from. And let's start with a question that will carry us through this episode today, which is, what if joy isn't something that you had to earn, but something that you could activate in a minute? Literally a minute, 60 seconds. And what happens for you when you hear that joy could be easy or quick? Is there anything that comes up in your heart where you're like, that's not doable. That's not a thing, actually. I don't think so. Having some resistance to that. Joy is for other people, not for me. Happiness is something that happens when you're not tired and I'm exhausted. This is a privileged thing. Like, what is it that we're having? Oh, I love all these little emojis. We've got some tired, crazy eyes. We've got a happy cat. We've got hearts. I love it. And I want you to think about that question while I continue, which is that I'm going to tell you, we've been taught to overcomplicate most things, including our happiness. And maybe you've heard a voice of like, once I get through my list, I can rest. Or when I've saved more money, that's when I can feel free. Or once my house is perfect, then I can have people over, right? And when we do this, it's a way to wait for joy. Oh my goodness, I love this conversation happening between two babes on Instagram right now that are talking about that I'm noticing them and how much they love me. It's so adorable. This is making me very happy. I love it. Brittany, and I'm not sure what your name is, sweetie. I'm not able to discern that from your Instagram name, but welcome. And I want you to think about, if we start right now, how do my eyes look? How does my eye look? Nicole, hi Nicole. With no H even. So splendid. I want you to think about, like, what if we start right now? What if we start looking for joy by looking for the smallest spark, the smallest thing? Tell me what's something that made you smile this week in the chat. Something random, something silly, something that you can't even explain. It doesn't even need to make sense. It doesn't need to make sense to anybody. It can even be a personal inside joke, and I don't need to get it. Just share something that made you happy. Something that made me happy this week. So many things. I'm loving, I found Mitzi this morning in my closet, and she, whenever I walk past, she talks to me and she goes, every time. And I found her. Oh, speak of the Mitzi. Hi, sweetie. Oh, look at you. Say hi. She loves being on the camera. She loves it. Okay. Think about something that made you happy. Things that have made me happy were cleaning my house, planning out outfits, going to Applebee's and getting one of these, like, it was a drink in a bucket. I thought that was really cute. And walking through the dollar store with my friend to help her go Easter basket shopping for her children. And I don't know, a lot of little tiny things have made me happy this week. Oh, all the blooming. Everything's blooming so quickly and fast in Baltimore here. And I have my magnolia tree out here, and there's another tree that's turning purple, and all these little buttercup and dandelion yellow flowers are sprouting up all over the yard, and it looks like just a wonderful wildflower land. Oh, yeah, a cat finding her toy and carrying it in her mouth. That's so cute. We used to babysit this dog when I was a kid. His name was Bo. He was a golden retriever, and I swear he could understand stuff. And I would say, like, we're going out for a drive, and he would go and he would grab his little stuffed animal and put it in his mouth and bring it with him. That still makes me happy. It's been like 20 years. Oh God, more. I'm so old. Oh my goodness. Hi, Mitzi. Yeah. We're getting lots of rain, but that should bring beautiful blooms. Yeah, April showers bring May flowers. Wonderful. Your dog being such a piece of work. Applebee's does have really good drinks. They sure do. They have, when we sat down, they had like 7 menus. It was quite overwhelming, but not even just alcoholic drinks. I mean, they have every kind of lemonade in the entire world. So wonderful. Oh, I love celebrating what you're enjoying too. And when we look at all these little moments together, we're able to kind of capitalize and expand that and think about more things that make us happy. And also just become in tune to ways to notice stuff in general, right? And here's something that I want to say is that, especially with, not even just especially with everything going on in the world, but always, celebrating doesn't mean that you don't care. When you acknowledge something that makes you happy, when you're grateful, when you're celebrating, I want you to know that that doesn't make you naive. It doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you simple. It doesn't mean that you're even neglecting other issues. There has to be birth and death for all of life to exist, right? So the fact that you're celebrating and that you're able to experience positive perspectives, potential optimism, and or gratitude, I think sometimes we get kind of caught up in like, well, I can't really be doing this. I can't really be celebrating because there's too much happening. But the thing is that there is always something happening. And if we stop being happy because we are worried about it being inappropriate or anything or perceived poorly, we'll stop doing not just that, but everything. The world doesn't stop, and feeling good doesn't detract from anything else that's occurring. In chapter 8 of my second book, the Merriment Making book, I wrote, if pain wins every time, we lose. Celebration keeps our spirits alive, our hope, and our connection to our humanity alive. So just kind of releasing and shaking off any guilt that you have around this idea that, oh, it's not okay to be happy because of something else. Maybe someone you know is upset, going through a hard time, or maybe you see the news and it feels like you're not able to do both. And I'm here to tell you always yes and. There's so much nuance to life. So today we're talking about joy being simple, micro joys, if you will. And let's talk about what's happening underneath the surface. So studies show that micro moments of joy help regulate your nervous system. They lower your cortisol, they increase resilience, and even boost your focus. So when I say that joy isn't frivolous, I don't even mean just conceptually, as a perspective or belief. I mean that joy is medicine. If stress can wound, joy can heal. Because sometimes happiness comes in small packages, right? Finish the sentence in the chat. Joy feels like blank. Happiness feels like blank. Merriment feels like blank. Whichever one you are vibing with right now. Joy, happiness, merriment, whatever one. But fill in the blank. Feels like what? What does it feel like? Joy keeps you going when times are rough. Beautiful. Yeah. And for me, my state of happiness, my version of it, I feel like is when I feel alive, excited, enthusiastic, participating, saying yes, and also really curious, like questioning worlds and existence and thinking about that, you know, that feeling that you get when you like try to think about how big space is, the cosmos space, and your brain kind of breaks a little bit. I love that feeling. I love it so much. Oh, happiness feels like a flower. That's so beautiful. And happiness feels like freedom. I love that. Happiness feels like freedom. Joy slows us down enough to be present. And most of us, especially all my weirdos here, my wonderful superpower weirdos and merriment makers, we are, we tend to be people pleasers. We tend to be caretakers in some capacity. We are people that all really give a damn, right? And because of that, we've also like kind of had this experience where a lot of us have been living in fight or flight, at least in our bodies, for a really long time. And you might not even realize that it's happening because it's become your new baseline. So we struggle with like these physical symptoms that can arise as a result of not having a calmed nervous system. And I love that I love that we can teach, like there's ways in the Positive Pulse of free ideas, especially in the Anxious to Awesome seminar, where I help you like activate your vagus nerve and parasympathetic nervous system, which help to regulate you. Everybody that did that, they went down like 2 to 3 points from a 1 to 10 scale of stress, which was fantastic. And there's so many different ways to do that. But another way to be consistent in this is to showcase yourself, or to focus on these tiny moments, right? It's like when you sip your favorite drink and say, that moment of like really being in it, of experiencing it, of savoring it, I always try to explain when people talk about like, what is mindfulness? I explain that it's the best way for me to give a tangible action or instruction is for you to do something like it's the last time you'll ever do it. So what if this was the last time you ever got to drink that drink or kiss that person or go to this field? If I knew it was the last time, well, what if you lived that way? What if you lived as if everything you did was the last time? And not necessarily in a morbid way. I believe there's a beautiful balance between mortality awareness and understanding our impermanence here on this earth, as well as letting that motivate us to do what makes us happy in the moment and experience it fully, instead of just counting on the fact that this field will be here tomorrow and so will I. We don't know either of those things to be true for certain. Merriment feels like motivation. Joy feels like satisfaction with my time and with the company that I keep. Wonderful. I love these. Okay. So when we do that thing where we like sip the drink and we're like, okay. I'm aware that I'm holding this cup. I'm aware of like the fact that it's pretty, and that there's smiley faces on it, and that I got this online, and that it's been the best cup that I've ever had. It's kept my water cold every day, except once when it was like over 100 degrees out, and it sat in the car, and even then it wasn't hot. I love that. I love that there's a straw. I love that the water is coming from this like tank that I keep in my house, and that I'm really conscious about water. I love the way that water feels as it goes down your esophagus into your stomach. I love that cold feeling. Does merriment mean happiness? Yes. You know how people say like Merry Christmas? It's like Happy Christmas? It's the same thing. Yeah. Joy, happiness, merriment, all the same thing. You know, a word that we don't use for happiness anymore is felicity. That name or that word, felicity, that's also happiness. There's so many. Exuberance. Okay, so I told you that it doesn't take long for you to shift your state energetically and physically with joy. So I am going to be teaching a 7-day free challenge where everything's 1 minute long inside the Positive Pulse, and it starts in 2 days on April 7th. So if you're not in the Positive Pulse, you've got to get in there. It's so cool. It's free. There's over 100 resources in there, completely free. There's almost 100 people in there already. Actually, I haven't checked today. I want to see when we break 100 people, and I know that we're going to get to 5,000 before this year is over. And on April 7th to April 13th, we're going to be doing a free challenge where every day when you log in, there's going to be this new less than 1 minute video. And the task that you're needing to do is also a less than 1 minute. So I'm just going to give you kind of like a preview of that. And we're going to try it right now. So it'll take 1 minute. So look around right now and name 5 things that you can see that are yellow. I'm going to do it. Okay. I mean, it's easy for me. Everything in my house is very colorful. I've got yellow bell. I've got a yellow tissue box. Well, the duck is yellow. I've got a flower pen. And this troll doll's hair is also yellow. So you do it. Take a gander around your home or your environment, wherever you are in the moment, unless you're driving. Be careful. And look for yellow. What do you see? Share it with us. And yes, here, let me see this. Okay. So the reason that this works is that we're looking for novelty. Novelty really increases our dopamine, and that boosts our motivation and also our happiness in terms of a scientific backing. It also allows us to be curious and aware of our environments and mindful all at the same times. The first thing you looked at before I even said the color was a banana. Fantastic. And then you start to notice like, oh wow, there's a bunch of yellow things. Maybe there's not that many things as I thought, but there's more. Or when you go outside today, you'll start seeing yellow flowers. Okay. Another thing we can do is write down one little thing that makes you happy. Could be something that you did today, something you got to experience, or we can zoom out and think about like, what is it that I get to do, that I get to have, that I get to experience in this life, in this year, at this age, in this town? Where are you grateful or happy even? Doesn't even need to be grateful. Just excited, happy, felicity, joy about something that you get to do. Being a human. You get to see in color. We got to look around and find yellow, right? We got a sweater, daffodil, lip gloss cap, and the grass is kind of yellow. Beautiful. Yeah, I love, working with it. Is the grass green or is it yellow? Guess what? It's neither. All of life is nuanced and not black and white, somewhere in the middle. So I love that you found the grass to be yellow when you were in search of it. Okay, so we've got the color hunt. We've got writing something down with the prompt of, what is something that I get to experience as a human being in this city or in this part of life, in this age, or just as a human being? I get to touch my cat's soft fur. Wonderful. Yes. We get to see rainbows. We get to know that there's waterfalls and go visit them and stand in them. We get to decorate however we want. We get to dress however we want. We get to use the internet and connect with all of us together. How cool is that? And here's another thing we can do, is we can celebrate tiny little wins for ourselves. We can think about, what is it that we accomplished today? I heard, who was it? The book that I was reading. I can't remember who it was. He said that every night he asks his kids, what's something that you failed at? And I love that, because it means that you're trying something. And it also helps to be kind of like this counterpoint of checking in and like, okay, well, if I didn't fail at anything, that means I didn't try at all. That means I had no goal. That means I had no, focus on something specific. And if we can acknowledge that failure is a part of this, that it's all part of the messy middles, then we can simultaneously learn from our failures and apply them to be like, okay, well, you know what? I failed at it in this way. And that means I tried, and how wonderful is it for me to try and care and not be apathetic, but be so deeply caring and intentional. And then you apply it to the next day. So you can do a list of an accomplishment and a failure. And how wonderful is that partnership? So what's something that you... Actually, you know what? It doesn't even matter what it is. You can tell us what it is, or you can just drop a party, the doo-doo-doo emoji in the chat if you're celebrating something today with us, even if it's small, right? And let's challenge the idea of what small means. I mean, why does it need to be a, quote, simple pleasure to enjoy touching your cat's fur, right? Why does that need to be a simple pleasure? Why did we have to qualify it as a simple or a guilty or a small joy? What if they were all the same weight? A Hallmark moment and a simple joy, essentially the same thing. We allow them to be together and not qualify them or rank them. Share a little party emoji if you're on board with celebrating something today, and feel free to let us know what it is. So if you've done any of these three things, you can maybe see how your body and your brain are feeling right now as compared to how they were maybe 45 minutes ago. Looking around for novelty, writing down and reflecting on what it means to be human and what we get to do, and then acknowledging the celebration of our own accomplishments. And what does that mean? Sometimes it means getting to show up to a live call on time. Sometimes it means organizing. Sometimes it means checking something off the to-do list that you really didn't want to do. Sometimes it means making time for yourself and taking a nap because you know that if you don't, you're going to hurt yourself. Self-care is really important as part of your celebration of tiny wins. I said yes to attending a sleepover with women in my town. That's hot. I love that. I love a sleepover vibes. Okay, take a breath and notice how you feel in your body, even if it's subtle. Did anything shift after doing any of those? The color hunt, the writing it down, the perspective, thought, reflection, thinking about your tiny wins. Hello. So I want to build on that, because joy isn't just about noticing, it's also about feeling it through your whole self. So as I mentioned earlier, I was looking at my book, my second book, and there's a chapter on embodiment and there's a chapter on celebrating. And embodiment, this is a quote from me, embodiment doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need to be in a studio or spend hundreds of dollars. It can be as simple as this moment. So embodiment is like, when people say that, sometimes we think that it has to be like a feminine flow of a pole dance, and that can be a wonderful way to get in touch with your body. And it doesn't need to be complicated. That's the whole point of all of this, is that nothing needs to be complicated. We overcomplicate so much. What if it was about the after the drink? Experiencing all the things that you get to experience on this earth. Not wishing that we were part of another realm, and being so glad that we get to be here in this world and get our hands dirty in the dirt and the beach and you feel the wind on our face and all of it. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and notice what feels good in your body right now. We tend to focus on pain and the complaints that we can make about our physical bodies. But what does feel good right now? What's the different question of what feels nice in your body? Is there anything? Is there a warmth in your hands? Is it a texture from your clothing? Is it the softness of your breath? Is it the tiny buzz of excitement that you're feeling right now? Potentially? And tell us in the chat, tell us like, as you check in with yourself, what does feel good? Instead of noticing what hurts, because we can probably find something that hurts physically and emotionally. But what feels good? Embodiment is the moment that you stop and you smell the candle before you light it. It's taking a sip of your drink and saying, it's kissing someone and lingering, you know? It's touching something soft and pausing and feeling the textures. Tell me in the chat something that makes you feel alive. What's something that it's made you feel alive lately? It feels good to breathe in and not have any tightness in my chest. Yeah. The breath is so incredible. I swear, like, out of everything that I've tried to do with all the different modalities and the guinea pig things that I've put myself through to be able to report back on, and whether it's microdosing or yoga or dance or tapping or meditation or like, you know, anything, I swear that breathing is like is the best one. It's so weird that that's the best thing. And if you really figure out how to breathe, it's so wonderful, because you could kind of like send it to different places in your body and breathe in really deep and expand, and it grounds you. It's one of the big diaphragmatic breaths activate your vagus nerve, which help to activate and regulate your parasympathetic nervous system. So what's something that's making you feel alive? And remember, you don't have to explain why something feels good. There's always these disclaimers that we make. We make so many disclaimers about whether or not this is good, or we go to read our poem or share our art, and we have to explain like, well, this is about this, and this is how I feel, and this is why I did that, and I know maybe it's a little messy, but let me tell you this, and let me explain, like, da 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 da. And we don't need to do any of that. You are allowed to just show up and do exactly what you're doing and share it with people and be like, there it is. There it is. Here we are. And that's beautiful, to not disclaim your own creativity or worth. What a beautiful power. It's like the next step from not apologizing is no more disclaiming. The anticipation of laughter and excitement and community. We'll have it the sleepover. Yeah, that's fun. Anticipation can be really fun. That excitement that builds. The difference between anxiety and anxiety and excitement is breathing. Like that rush that you feel of the anticipation and excitement, that's so much fun. But if we add in the fear and not being able to breathe with it, it's like, that's when it gets to be anxiety. My friend taught me that when you're anxious, to breathe in and fill your lungs and slowly breathe in more as you can. Yes, yes, yes. So that's like actual breath work, right? And you can it's basically just kind of training your lungs to be able to breathe more. We need as much oxygen as we can get. And it also, that having more oxygen also helps your mitochondria, which are all these little things that are made up, all the little cells in your body. And without getting too much into it, it's like, if those are happy, it can effectively resource the rest of your body and your brain. But most of the time, our mitochondria aren't fed well. We're giving it crap food, and we're not breathing, and we're not resting enough. And it has like certain requirements. And essentially at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, they need to process out all like these things called free radicals. And it's like, there's so many things, they're powering everything in your body with energy. So if you don't have your mitochondria well resourced, fed, nourished, happy, it doesn't send as much to your body or your brain what it can provide for you in terms of energy. Your brain is taking up like 75% of what everything needs. And if you only have, 80% of a tank, it has to go somewhere. It has to be distributed somewhere. So sometimes that means that we're in pain, and sometimes that means that we get brain fog. And healing your mitochondria is like a really cool thing to understand. But yes, breathing in. And also when you breathe out, if you can do anything that's vocal, because vocal things activate your vagus nerve and it all calms us down. Yeah. We have aerial yoga tomorrow. Wonderful. That's exciting. Send pictures. Post pictures in the Positive Pulse. We'd love to see it. But again, you don't have to explain why something feels good. It doesn't matter. If it feels good, it matters, right? I definitely, like everybody at some point, used to think that I had to earn my happiness, my care, my worth, all of it from different ways. And that once I did X, Y, and Z, then the door to joy would swing wide open, right? And that's not the case. What I've learned is that it's fuel for the journey, your joy. It's not like joy, happiness, merriment. It's an infinite game. There is no winning. There's no winning happiness. We actually have an episode on the happiness game. There's no winning this game. It's a daily thing. It's a process. And what we need for life is to just kind of like think about our gas tank as being things that make us feel good. Our gas tank is full of joy and happiness, and that's what's sustaining us for the longer trips, which is just our life. We're taught to say yes, please, to what feels bad and no thank you to what feels good. And today I want you to really challenge that. I want you to say yes to what feels good, to say yes to your joy, to not challenge yourself or shame yourself or question why something feels good. Who cares? If that's what you like, that's what you like. Let's stop disclaiming it. Let's stop making everyone part of this. They're not part of this. Screw them. They don't need to care if you like it or not. They don't need to understand you. And a lot of us have been misunderstood our entire lives. And it's like a real hard point for us to want to not necessarily even fit in, but that we feel like we kind of need to always explain because we've been misinterpreted and misunderstood so many times. So I understand that that is like a real point of contention and something to work through and over and with. And I want you to not care if you like cartoons or whatever. Like, I want you to not worry about the fact that what you enjoy might be perceived as inappropriate or childish or not adult enough or too much of this or too not enough of that. And just accept, like, this is what I like. And the more you lean into what you love, oh, the more beautiful your whole life gets and the more powerful you get. The more powerful you are. The more you acknowledge and embrace and activate your weirdness, the more powerful you can be. If you're a superhero, that's it. That's what makes you incredible. I am not for everyone, and I shouldn't be, because that means that I am for certain people. And if you don't like me, that's fantastic. Go ahead, go on. But when people tell me that I'm too playful or too colorful or too much or too childish or too frivolous and too a lot of things, too loud, too blunt, too honest, too many things, I used to try to figure out, there are some things when we kind of need to tweak, right? Because if everyone's saying something and it's something that you feel activated by, and there's a little bit of guilt and or shame in there, that might actually be coming from a place of, maybe I do want to kind of evolve that a little bit, right? It's not that we don't want to ever change our minds or not take feedback. That's not what this is. But I do want to challenge you that, like, are you going to not, like, am I not going to fill my house up with ducks because it's weird? That's stupid. That's really stupid, frankly. It just doesn't make any sense to not do something so simple to experience your own joy. If it makes you happy and it's not hurting anybody, let's just go ahead and do it, right? So how can you, what's something that maybe you've been saying no to that you really would benefit from saying yes to, or integrating into your life, or putting on the wall, or going to that event or that kind of thing, or hanging out with those kinds of people, or dressing a certain way? What's the thing that you're like, I don't know, that's gonna be weird. That's a little too weird. And how can you do more of that instead? And not just incorporate it, but like 10 times it, 10x that weirdness. And what's something that maybe you've been saying yes to that feels bad? That's not good anymore. Maybe it worked before, but it's not working now. What's something that you say yes to that doesn't make you feel good? And what's something that you say no to that you can incorporate into your life? Feel free to share in the chat. And really, all of this is what, I was going to say it's what the 1 Minute Joy Challenge is about, because that's what I wanted to let you guys know about today. But also, it's what life is about. It's what my ethos of merriment making and what I'm calling soon to be released alt joy is about. And I want this to be activated within you and for you to feel powerful in your own way through your own weirdness. So starting April 7th, which is in 2 days from now, I'll be sharing a quick daily joy practice inside the Positive Pulse. And if you're not inside the Positive Pulse yet, get cracking. It's completely free. It's on an app and it's on the desktop. And there's like daily digests of emails so you don't miss anything. And there's push notifications if you want. You can RSVP to events like this. And there's 100 free resources. There's also members, and you can like fill out your whole profile and see what other people like. That's like based on what you like and your location and stuff. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic. And there's discounts in there for this month for my actual paid programs. And I don't know, I just keep adding stuff. It just keeps getting better. So if you're not in the Positive Pulse yet, uncustomary.org/positive-pulse. I've been saying yes to more local events, and I want to say no to taking in lots of negativity in the world. Love that. I love that. Yeah, we can say no to taking in negativity to in any way. Maybe that's a specific person, maybe that's watching specific news, maybe that's just being more deliberate about how we do any of those things. And kind of like imagining that you're a disco ball and you zip up your disco ball and only stuff that's good can get into your disco ball, and only positivity can come out. Only the light can come out. It's like zipping yourself up for protection as a disco ball. So like I said, starting April 7th, we're going to be doing that quick joy practice. That's only a minute or less. You have a minute. You got a minute, honey. And they're playful. They are fast, and they are designed to shift your energy in 60 seconds or less. And I really love it because like these aren't things that are like, you know, take a bubble bath or take a breath even, you know, they're very weird. They're very silly. They're very Pippi Longstocking and fun, but they're also backed in science. So I love that. Playful. And I just want to remind you that you don't have to wait until you're perfect. You don't have to wait for the world to be fixed. And you get to show up exactly as you are. And do it really big. Not allowing people to use us as an emotional dumping ground. If we care about them, it's not healthy to accept everyone's problems. Yeah, that's true. And you can say like, I can't right now. How do you join? uncustomary.org/positive-pulse, or you can just go to uncustomary.org and you'll see the link for it there, or you can go to the link in my bio. Okay, so your invitation is to RSVP for the challenge. Actually, there isn't really like an official way to do that thing. I didn't make it into an event, but RSVP in your heart. Let's just know that we're going to show up on April 7th and we're going to start doing those daily challenges. And invite a friend to join you. Did you know that there's a giveaway happening this entire month? It's pinned to the top of my Instagram. And if you go, you can tag friends. You have to be a member of the Positive Pulse, which is free, and then tag a friend. And then at the end of April, it closes on April 25th. And on April 29th, I'll announce one person who wins a free month to my VIP membership. And that one's really cool. You get like mail coming to your house. You get good news texts every day. You get 1,500 resources. It's just fabulous. Yeah. Okay. So you can enter that as many times as you want, meaning that you can tag people as many times as you want. It just has to be different people. Putting my hand on my heart feels good. Yes, it does. And you know, this act increases oxytocin, which is your love and trust hormone and connection hormone. Yeah. So it's a feel-good hormone. So this act of putting your hand on your heart is scientifically backed as to why it feels good. Your joy does not have to be earned. It just has to be noticed. And that starts now, right? So come to the Positive Pulse, invite friends to join you, and you'll even potentially be rewarded with a free month. It's $88 for just a month value. And we're going to start this tiny joy practice that is so doable, right? And we're going to comment, we're going to participate, because you know what else is happening? At the end of April, on April 30th, after I announce the giveaway, I'm going to have a Positive Pulse party live, and I'm going to do like an award ceremony where maybe you're the best emoji user in the Positive Pulse, or you're the most likely to have googly eyes in your purse. I'm just going to do like a very silly Office Dundee-esque themed award ceremony. But the thing is that you don't know what the categories are. So the more you participate in the Positive Pulse, showing up in your way, the more likely you are to win something. There's so much cool stuff happening this entire month in there. It's been a lot of planning. Okay. Well, that is it, honestly. I wanted to remind you that joy does not need to be earned. that it can be very simple and that we can shift it with 1 minute. And inside your joy box, what's inside your joy box? I hope that you felt like you get to tap into the concept of happiness, the freedom that it doesn't need to be hard or expensive or difficult and long, and that it's accessible. And by doing this, you're creating reserves for your mental health. And my merriment makers, joy is not about the size of the thing, it's about the size of the feeling. So if you want an extra journaling prompt to take with you today, you can think about something that you loved as a kid but were told was silly. Something you were told was like, that's too weird, that's wrong, that's silly, why are you doing that? And then think about that, think about the thing that you loved, and how, again, you can bring that into your life today. And how can we want to take it further, 10x it? How can you really lean into that weirdness and that superpower? Okay, yes, and to join on customary.org/positive-pulse. The link is in my bio. The link is everywhere, and you're so welcome. I'm glad that I needed this. Wonderful, beautiful. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them for me or DM me, and I will see you very soon for the 7-day 1-minute challenge. I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Saturday. Remember that you have to feel good to do good. I love you. Bye-bye.